One. Hi, and good evening. This is Bradley Chapman. This is the Diamond Show, wherever you are around the world. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. I'm joined today, actually, in the studio with the co-founder of W.O.R.K.S, Mr. Darie Nani. Pleasure. We've had a business meeting together today, and it just so happened that we was together, so we took the opportunity to jump on. But more importantly, tonight's live show, totally humbled. Got hairs. My hairs are standing up on the back of my neck. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce you the one and only Sean Mulroney from Teams of America. Good evening, Sean, and how are you doing, my good man? How are you doing?
Hi, hey, Bradley, hey, Darie, how you all doing? I'm doing wonderful, better than I deserve, no complaints. So thank you for having me on, man. I'm stoked about this.
We're so pleased to have you. And audiences, I mean, just so you know, as people, join us on Facebook, people start to come online. This is the first time actually that we've broadcast on a separate channel. So my test TV lives has been on Bradley S. Chapman on Facebook. This is the first one where we're broadcasting on W.O.R.K.S News. It's also my pleasure and privilege to say thank you to Marina Nani, the founder of W.O.R.K.S News. I know that Marina's in London at the moment. She's very, very busy today. I've got something very, very exciting to do. And I just wanted to pass on my thanks for the journey that I've experienced in the last few months. I'm going to be talking a little bit more later on about W.O.R.K.S World and what's happening with, but for people that's just tuning in, W.O.R.K.S World has just joined and said, good evening, gentlemen. And we're going to say good evening back to W.O.R.K.S World. So tonight we've got quite a lot to go through. I imagine we're probably going to be about an hour on the live, and we're going to be talking to Sean Mulroney about Teams of America. He's the founder of a fantastic business called Teams of America, and equally he has been on the most amazing person to beat obesity. And this guy's story is one of the most amazing, courageous, inspirational, heartfelt diamond stories that you could possibly imagine. I'm actually in awe of this man. Love him a bit. And if I get emotional during tonight's show, you'll have to forgive me. Because the other day I was watching Sean's video, and he is doing things for obesity right now and teams in the UK. It's going to blow you away, some of the stuff this guy's doing. It's touched my heart. The first time I spoke to him, actually, we struck a relationship, and yeah, it's going to be an amazing interview. This interview tonight, it's not just about the challenges we face as entrepreneurs. And let's just say good evening to Cheryl Chapman. Cheryl Chapman is a fantastic lady.
Yes, she is.
Is she not?
Yes, she is.
Fantastic lady.
She is.
And Cheryl actually has got her own fantastic business. She's recently become Dr. Cheryl Chapman, and she's also one of the very hosts as well of W.O.R.K.S World. So I'm very, very glad that she could join. And just bear with us here, Sean. Marina Nani has also jumped online. Marina is the founder of W.O.R.K.S World, and we're very pleased and with great pleasure and humbled again to be joined by Marina Nani. Everything that's happening right now on the Diamond Show, to W.O.R.K.S and their amazing platform. We're going to talk about that a bit later. But hey, Sean, we're going to go through lots of different questions tonight, and we're going to enjoy our conversation. So let me just get, and also, Sean, what we'll probably do as well is as we're going through, Marion Bevington's jumped online. Marion Bevington is another amazing lady.
Yes, she is.
She's jumped online. She's also a host, Sean, at W.O.R.K.S World, and she's got her own business as well. So you're getting some good support tonight. Now, we're going to go through quite a few questions. And look at that. Love you, Bradley and Darie. Hey, Cheryl, let's send some love out to our amazing man, Sean Mulroney. So, Sean, what we're going to do now is let's run through some questions. First of all, what I'd like to understand really is just first of all, let's kick off. Let's talk about Teams of America, because we've spoken to you about this before. It's an amazing program. You're changing people's lives in America. And there we go. And we got to Cheryl sending you some love there, Sean, and I'm sure you'll connect up with Cheryl Chapman. But let's talk about Teams of America and let the viewers understand what it is you're doing. Now, this is one of the first live broadcasts on Radio Works World, so we're both very privileged, myself and Darie and Marina and the ladies that's watching. We're so privileged to have you.
Yeah.
So tell us about Teams of America, how it started, how you got into it, and what you're doing for teams in the USA. And Sean's actually from Missouri in the USA. Give us an understanding of your emotional and courageous and inspirational entrepreneurship journey with the Teams of America.
Well, like I said, once again, Bradley, thank you for having me on the Diamond Show. Thanks to Radio Works. Thank you, Darie. I'm honored. The honor is all mine. And you said you're going to ask me questions. I'm not going to get graded on this. Am I correct?
You know what?
Do you want to be graded?
No.
We can't.
You know,
no.
Sean, if we were to grade any answer that you give us and live on this show, every single one of your answers would qualify for diamond status.
So that's higher than an A+. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome because in high school I got, they say get an A. I had a lot of one-legged A's, and you know what a one-legged A is, right?
Need to do more.
I know. So, but I'm just honored to be here. So here's the thing: we have, Teams of America is what it is. We believe myself. I was a troubled teenager, had a lot of bad, experience, made a lot of bad choices. I had some friends that passed away from bad choices, as drinking and driving, even suicide, and even drug overdose. So I had that happen to me. I had family members, made, bad choices in that way. So I had a troubled past, 6 years of age, the first time I ever tried, marijuana and alcohol. By the age of 13, I was, addicted. And from 13 to 21, I was going down a bad path, loved sports, played sports, not only sports, but as I got into sports, music was my passion. I played drums in a band. We did well. I was doing well. So I had that passion. Music sort of took over. I gave up the sports aspect, ran down. So what happened at 21, I sort of had a reality check. A man named Brad Cranston, who I'll never forget, my mentor, he told me, things were happening around me. He says, well, your friends are making some bad choices. He says, you're not an exception to the rule. And he says, well, what if that happens to you? And that sort of, went down, and I was like, you're right. And other things, my mom, I was disappointing my mother. And then it was sort of like a slap in the face. And then at about 2021, I got my steps in order. I, gave up that lifestyle, started, marching to right things. And of course, in high school, I failed every oral report. So me to be a public speaker, is sort of an oxymoron, if you will. And I had a teacher tell me, he said, Mulroney, he was so frustrated with me. He says, Mulroney, if there's ever a vote for the one least likely to succeed, you'd get it. And I was like, I didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but, all the way through, then started 2000, whenever I was 21, man, I sort of did a 180, started getting my life in order. Then in 1995 is when I first spoke in my first public school assembly. And then in 1998, I started Teams of America. My wife and I got married that year. We're going to be celebrating 19 years. My wife is actually stuck with me for 19 years. I mean, come on, that's a major milestone. So don't tell her that. I don't know what she's doing, but I'm glad she's with me. That's all I can say. But Teams of America, 98 to now 2017. Speaking in schools, I would speak to about 150,000 students, some years, just great, helping young people from, substance abuse, bullying, suicide. So all that to 1998 to now we have a full radio show, that's heard in 27 countries. We're on radio stations here in America. And now we have 10 co-hosts, that are just rock stars. And it's just amazing how we're reaching out there. and we want to reach the future because teenagers are the face of the future. So teens of America, I don't want to just be teens of America. I want to be teens of Canada, teens of UK, teens of the world.
That's right.
And do a team, my desire, and I want to lead that.
You know, it's a beautiful story. The Be Live platform that we use has got an option to, you know, to share the screen. But if I add it, I've got to add it to the browser, so it may crash it. So I'm not going to do that. We'll do that next time. But you know, when I first looked at Teens of America, the website's changed dramatically since we last spoke, and I think we spoke now, right? And as you probably know, since that time, you've gone through some changes. I've gone through some changes. Darie and Marina are going through some changes. And all these changes are really, really positive changes where, you know, I just realised I've got my sunglasses on rather than my glasses, so I might look like I've got dark lenses, so I apologise. We've all been through these changes. Now, diamonds and motivated people are people that are always looking for opportunity to move forward, no matter what they face. And I think we can all probably agree we've been through some challenges, we've faced some obstacles, and it's the obstacles that when you get slapped with an obstacle, it's actually where you learn. Now, Sean, yourself, Darie, myself, Marina, and a lot of the guys that are involved in business that are positive diamonds that glow and radiate positivity. Although we still feel pain, which we do in emotion, we understand that emotion. And as you say, we're converting that earlier on our pre-show discussion. We were talking about turning a negative from a positive. So tell me, in your diamond life that you've got, you're somebody who's found this diamond, who's already moving forward. You're shaping and polishing your stone, which takes time, it takes patience, it takes self-development and sheer perseverance. How has Teens of America changed since we last spoke? I know we're going to talk about your obesity success with international. You're getting attention internationally now. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but how's the website changed? How has the business changed? How has it evolved? Now, apart from going to Canada, what's happening in the US? You've taken on some new hosts. Tell me about those. Tell me about the changes in the website and understand a bit more deeply. You do these assemblies and stuff, don't you now? So tell us a bit more about how it's changed just in the last 2 months, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, it has went from night to day. I mean, I have the best team around me that I possibly could. From, you know, we're a production of EG Media Group, which is run by Scott Reagan. He's the president and founder of that. And EG Media Group has taken everything, my Teens of America radio to my new podcast, which we'll talk about, you know, here, and then plus my television. America. I mean, I have radio royalty that works for me. Bill Smith, we call him Shoe. He's Carrie Mooney. She's our operation. She takes care of everything, the glue that holds us together. And she just, you know, especially with all of the talent that we have, the momagers that we work with who are like gold. I mean, love them. But, you know, Aaron, we call him Big Boy. Spanky, who is my co-host. His name is Sean, so we call him Spanky. He looks exactly like Spanky off The Little Rascals. So that propeller, you know, type hat on him is what he needs. So the team, I mean, I'm failing to mention, you know, everybody that I'll think of them as we go. In our co-host, we have Jesse K, incredible talent. You know, 17 years of age, you know, has a podcast, 20 under 20s, just doing incredible things. We with us, Angel Berry, actors and actresses that are just taking over, you know, the talent, you know, Cassandra Perkins, Devin and Mason Kern, you know, Megan Scott is another one that we have, and we have tons of teenagers that want to do that, but we only had room for 10 right now until we start expanding, and it's just growing. I mean, and then we hit a record on Monday night. 27 countries were tuned into our stream on Monday night, and we have other stations that are looking at us that wanting to do that, so we're trying. So the change has been like, you know, the reach has been mega I don't even know how to explain it, but I couldn't do it without, you know, a great team, because, you and I, all of us know, Darie, you, you know, Bradley, you know, if you don't have a team,
Yeah.
and you don't have people that are doing, it's just, and then the moms, I mean, the momagers from Florence and Madron and, you know, Christine Berry and Barbara Fifield. I mean, these ladies that they have their teenagers that are actors or in the music industry. One girl, you know, Casey, I think, has 250,000 views on one of her music videos. Just these social media YouTube sensations that we have, and we give them their own hour. They co-host with me, and now that's just like they're promoting it. And I think why we did that, because teenagers talk to teenagers. You get teenagers motivated, they got, and you crank them up in the right direction. Rather than being a rebel without a cause, we want them to be a rebel with a cause. And we want them to turn that and channel it to the right direction, and just bam, you know, 1-2 punch and get them and just crank them up. And you know, that's what I'm excited about, that youth. I mean, there's something in it, and I'm living vicariously. I want to be the adult that I needed whenever I was a teenager, is my whole, you know, thing. And what I missed, you know what I'm saying? Because I want parents to understand teenagers, and I want teenagers to understand themselves. And I believe that teenagers are one caring adult from being a success. That's what Teens of America has changed. That's what we want to do, is be that light in the dark world that teenagers are up against with the substance abuse, you know, the human suicide, mental illness. And we want to light this candle and light this globe up and say, teenagers, you have hope. You might be the face of the future, but you are here now. Bam. Just like that.
It's a beautiful story, Sean. That's, you know, you are so passionate about your business and what you do. Do you know, you never talk about yourself. You only talk about, you know, the business and what it's doing for other people. And I think that from an entrepreneur and a humility basis is just absolutely amazing. Just also want to say hi. We've got Viola Edward de Glanville just joining us. Viola at the moment, she's in Chicago, USA. How far is Chicago drive time from Missouri, Sean?
4.5, 5 hours. I go to Chicago quite a bit, so it's right up 55. Yep.
Yeah, right up Route 55. Yeah, well, just Viola said she's on her way down to you. She's going to share some love with you from Chicago.
Come on,
Viola. Actually, come on, Viola. Viola is an amazing lady, and she does lots of programs. She's a published author. She's one of the most elegant ladies, alongside Marina Nani, in terms of her dress and her style and her business, Feminine Capital. I think I got that right. We were talking the other day about male capital and the potential for male capital. Most beautiful lady. Do connect up with her. She's the most fabulous lady. Lives out in Cyprus, travels to the UK and around the world. So welcome, Viola, and fantastic. Now, Sean, if you've got any questions for Sean, you know, about his business and what he does, then of course, please do fire away. Let's ask him the question. The show's going to be going on for about another 45 minutes today. And what we're going to do now is we're going to talk to Sean just a little bit more now about his business. We've spoken about Kids of the Future. Now, recently, Sean has been featured on a new website. So there's three aspects to this Diamond Live interview. Obviously, we have co-founder Darie Nani of W.O.R.K.S. We have the amazing Sean Mulroney from Teens of America, and myself, Bradley Chapman, host of the Diamond Show, and of course our publishers and platform and broadcasting company, which indeed is W.O.R.K.S World. So I wanted to talk to you now about your challenge with obesity, because when I talked to you, when I first met you, the love that we've shared since, and I love you, man. You really are. I want to swear, but I can't. You're the most amazing man, and I'm in love with it. What you do, brother. I mean that not in a homosexual way. Nothing wrong with being homosexual at all, but from a brotherly love point of view, you're awesome, mate.
Yeah.
You know, I watched your video the other day. It's been a very busy, 2 or 3 months for me. I've been through a lot of change, Sean. We've not caught up for a couple of months, but the last 2 or 3 months for me has been the most exciting time, but it's been a challenging time because every diamond sheds its skin. every diamond will go through a process of developing itself. Diamonds are people that want to develop themselves, push themselves, want to keep moving themselves forward, want to keep making adjustment and change. Do you agree?
No complexity.
And making sure they're accountable for what they're doing. We're only human. We know that. We're going to fall over now and again. But diamonds, they just pop back up. They pop back up. They pop back up. Now, what you're doing with your obesity challenge, and although we can't share the screen today, I saw you last week, or was it early this week? I think it was Monday or Tuesday, wasn't it? And I saw you on your video when you achieved your 102-pound target weight. We spoke about that before, and I saw you with a video where getting emotional, right? So where you lifted all your children up, and you were talking about you love your children, and you want to lose this weight for the future. You want to be there for your kids. It really went into my heart with such a profound feeling of respect for you. It was unbelievable, and I'm getting emotional. Nobody really knows what I'm talking about unless they know your background and what you're doing and what you're going through. You're an absolute admiration. I want you to talk to me about your recent challenge of obesity, what you're doing about it, your YouTube videos. Recently, you've got the confirmation of your reality show. You're just about to go on BBC News and Sky News. You've had an interview with SWNS.com in the States. Tell us about that interview. Tell us about what you're doing, how you found the strength to do it to help people with obesity, and give people an insight into the strength. Give people an insight into your strength, because I tell you what, so many people are drawing that strength from you right now, that there's more people in life that we touch that we don't know about that we touch than actually the people we touch in our lives that we do know about, if I said that right. So there's loads of people we don't know, and we touch them every day. You are touching people's lives. So tell us about the interview, tell us about your reality show, and tell us most importantly about the obesity revolution and what's happening there, Sean, because I need to just stop for a second and listen, mate, because I'm full of love here. Seriously.
Well, you're making me cry too. We're going to cause a flood again. I mean,
that's right. We're diamonds now. We can cry. It's okay. We're strong people. It's called diamond emotion, brother. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, you know, so people that don't know me, you know, past caught up into me. It wouldn't have caught up, you know. You know, I broke down my system from a lot of bad choices, you know, bad habits, you know, it just rolled into another. And, you know, genetics, genetics is a cause of a lot of things, but it's not an excuse. Don't get this way by breathing air and drinking water. I don't have any excuses. My dreams are bigger than my excuses. But the highest weight I got to was 687 pounds. And you're like, man, how did it come? It didn't come overnight. Inspiring people, and then all of a sudden my whole system, my lymph system breaks down in my right side of my leg. I get a mass. I gained, in 18 months, gained almost 300 pounds because of my lymph system shut down on my right side of my leg. Been in the hospital 17 times, had 17 infections in the hospital 10 times. And I almost died twice because of my infections. Went septic and antibiotic, had allergic reaction, got Stevens-Johnson syndrome. I had blisters over 90% of my body, and I was one dose away from dying. That's what the doctor, the infectious disease specialist, said. So what happened, okay, an obese person knows they need to lose weight. You know, everybody has the stigmas. And you know, here, let me say this too. I mean, I use a lot of humor. To mock is to manage type thing. So I laugh at myself, you know, I love laughing. I'm a jolly fat man, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm the discouraged. It is what it is. So my thing is that, you know, I've, you know, because of my weight, I've broken furniture or broken chairs. Now I am, and never thought in a million years, when I shared my first video in January 14th, people in 24 hours. And then the views just went up. I mean, just me working out on the battle ropes. And I said, I've been on my weight loss journey for 5 years now. So 4 years I spent getting my mind in shape. So the last year is whenever I kicked it up, got a personal trainer. My shout out to my trainer, Brandon Bloor, who is incredible, he has changed my life. Because you know what? I'm an obesity specialist. I'm an obesity expert. You say, well, how can you do that? Well, I know how to get to 687 pounds pretty good. So I would say I'm an expert, if you know what I mean. So I'm an obesity expert. But now I needed an expert to help me get out of this. And that's where Brandon and I have come together, and he has worked with me. And now my videos have reached 4.5 million people in viewership just since I did this back in January. 4.5 million people have viewed my view. It's just amazing. So the people watching me, the video I did yesterday has 14,000 views in less than 8 hours. 14,000 views. It's reached 50,000 people. So I mean, it's just mind blowing to me that the fact that now what happened is that the hashtag Team Sean is everybody's using, and then also the hashtag the Obesity Revolution, and how the Obesity Revolution came about. A man wrote something. I get hundreds of people sending me messages or writing on my wall. I can't even keep track of them, and I try to get to them, but if I did, it would take me 8 hours a day. And I'm not boasting about that. My mind's blown away. I never thought in a million years that, millions of people would watch a fat guy sweating. And that's what it is. I have a shirt, caution, fat guy sweating. So I'm doing that, and I'm shedding, weight, lost 102 pounds. I'm going for the next 100 pounds right now, changing things up, my shirts, you know what I'm saying? Or just losing I'm feeling awesome. I can do a backflip in my mind right now. That's what I feel like. So, it's opening doors that I never even expected, and helping, I mean, literally thousands among thousands of people that are saying, I need to lose 40 pounds. So it's not that I'm not just helping my community. I'm helping people that need to lose 40, 30 pounds and say, if you can go to the gym, what's my excuse? You can lose that weight. How comes I can't lose 30 pounds? And I had, inspirational speakers tell me that they've inspired, hundreds of people, and I've inspired them to keep going and to lose weight in a healthy lifestyle, because it's not a diet. It's a live it. I change my mindset. If your mind doesn't change, you don't get your mind in shape, the body's never going to follow. So with all that said and done, I'm speechless by, the outpouring of people that have, reached out and said, hey, I'm behind you, and how the Obesity Revolution came about. A man wrote something on my wall, big, long thing. He said, you are the leader of the Obesity Revolution. And what that means is that I am overturning and revolting against obesity in my life. Now I want other people, and I have 150 personal trainers that show my videos to their clients every single day. That I post something, they show it to their clients. They say, now, what's your excuse now? And here's a guy right now lost 102 pounds because it takes work. I'm going through pain to get out of pain right now is what I'm doing. And I have to. And I'd rather you choose your pain. Do I choose my pain of being overweight, knees hurting, hips hurting, or do I go through the pain of working out 3 days? I go to the gym 3 days a week now. 3 days a week. I started small back in January, 6 months. I lost this 102 pounds. And yes, and I did that video you were talking about, is that all three of my daughters weigh 102 pounds. I was going for 100 pounds. It was amazing how it came about. I was shooting for 100 pounds. Well, I didn't do that. And I got on the scale and it said 585, and I was going for 587. And I was like, wow, I got it, took a picture of it. My wife videoed me and stuff like that. And then she said, wait a minute. She said, you lost 102 pounds. She said, let me add this up. So she added my oldest daughter, Maddie's weight up, my daughter, Olivia's weight up, and my daughter, Mackenzie, my 6-month-old's weight up. And it was equivalent to 102 pounds. So I was like, whoa. So I did that video, and when I put that video out there, it just started going all over the place. And I said, the weight of my daughter's shoulders is no longer on my body, and now I want to walk them down the aisle. And I just said an equivalent, just sort of a picture type mind, that I lost the equivalent of all three of my daughters, and I put it out there. And me just, there's great strength and vulnerability. Just be yourself, be real. I can't be anybody else. I can't be this. I can be me. I can be me. And listen, I used to think I had to validate myself, to lose weight to validate myself. But no, whenever I validated myself and believed in myself and loved myself at 687 pounds, that's when true change came in my life. And now it's going all over. Did an interview with SWNS, which is the biggest independent news distributor in the UK right now. And they are going to put it, they're involved with the BBC, ITN, NBC. They're all over the place. So Shanti, awesome interview. She interviewed me for an hour, wanted, 40 or so pictures of me as a child, asked me what it was like being obese, and then what caused me to change. What was that? And I said, intrinsic motivation. Man, my daughters, when I seen all three of my daughters being born, each one that was born, I was like, okay, now it's time. Now it's time. And then on December 26th, what I did was on December 20, my Mackenzie was born on December 26th. She just turned 7 months. So what I did is on December 27th, I reached out to a gym here locally in my area and asked for a trainer that was available that I could tell my story, and I needed a trainer. An hour later, Brandon Gore called me back and came to my house 2 days later and met with me. He says, I'm not taking any clients, but I want to take you on. And we never thought in a million years that it would change people and that my story would even be, I'm humbled, I'm honored. I mean, I can't believe it. And I get to enjoy the process. And you know what? I can't wait till I get down to 200 pounds. So I want people to watch me. And here I am. I'm going to power this obesity revolution is going to take over. And guess what? It's about me and having that mindset. So it's all over the place. And I'm cranked up about it. I'm loving life. I mean, I can't believe it. I got this, and I got even more. I lost another 7 pounds this week. So I'm down to 109 pounds right now. So I'm just doing it. I mean, Brandon's helped me confuse my body. I mean, I'm working. He put me through a whole body workout yesterday, and hey, let me say this to you. And I'm sorry. I'm just passionate. I get cranked up about it. So some people need a fire hose. That ain't even gonna to me. I want to just charge hell with a squirt gun. You know what I mean? So
Love it.
so Brand, I get up after my workout, Brad, and Darie. I get up after my workout, and whenever I got up, I was like, I hate you, Brandon. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm walking back, and I'm like, I'm hurting. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I hate you, Brandon. I raised my fist up to him, and I said, I hate you. I hate you. And I said, wait a minute. I should have said, man, instead of blaming him because he's helping me, why do we blame the people that help us or the things that help us rather than the things that got us there? I should have said, man, I hate you, cheeseburger. I hate you, fast food, or I hate you, pop or soda. I hate you, inactivity or sedentary lifestyle. Instead, I was saying, man, I hate Brandon. And I told him about that. He just laughed. And yes, why don't we blame the things that got us there rather than the things that are trying to get us out? And Brandon is my help, and he has been incredible. So that's where the obesity revolution has taken off. And that's what it's all about with my podcast. And now the TV project that's getting ready to start. I'm just ready to go. Here I am, and I'm going to break these stigmas. I want to kill the assumption, and I want to create awareness. Kill the assumption, create the awareness that other people are struggling with, and that a third of people that are obese stay in the shadows of obesity and cannot come out of their home. That's who I want to reach, because that's where I was.
Sean, your story is quite amazing. And, I was speaking to Marina Nani earlier, and I spoke to her about your story and what you're doing. And I know she's very keen to talk to you after the show or tomorrow. A possibility of a book being published, here in the UK, about your story and your life. So I'm going to connect you up with Marina personally, so you can have a chat with her. She's very, very keen, and she's done amazing things for me. And as you know, my book went published last week, we'll come back to that in a moment, but I'd like you to hook up Marina because she's really keen to explore a book for you here in the UK. So we're going to hook you up after the show. But you know what you just said, Sean, and the passion, the passion, right, that you've shown with your journey and your motivation, right? The passion and your motivation for every single person around the world that's not just affected by obesity, but the other things on your site, you know, the addiction, the bullying, childhood trauma, every single one of those people that suffers with addictions, afflictions, and challenges, they should look at you because you're a total inspiration in what you're doing. And just listening to you, I mean, you know me, Sean, I got a little bit of weight around the old stomach. You know that, brother. I think I went bellies last week with you. And we all, now to give people an idea of your weight and what you're carrying around, to have the energy that you've got right now as a man, an individual, a father, brother, and your business with Teens in America and what you're doing with the obesity challenge, to actually carry the weight that you're carrying, the drain of your energy, it is not affecting you in any way, shape or form, because your diamond energy right now is blowing us away. Absolutely blowing us away. So for people to understand your diamond mindset right now, I mean, your motivation is there, your drive is there, your execution is there, you're changing lives in America, you're changing lives now around the world. You've come out onto a global platform and you're saying, watch a fat guy sweat while I'm working out. You're the most wonderful doting father. Your children are the most beautiful children. You hold them up, you love them. I know you're focused on doing this, but tell me one reason why you're doing this. Give me one reason, one diamond reason, in one short sentence, so everyone can hear around the world that's listening and future listeners, why are you doing your business and your personal challenge? Why? We've lost sound there, Sean. We've lost sound, you're frozen. We've lost sound your end. No sound your end, Sean. Can you hear us? No sound. Yep. Bear with us, viewers. We'll talk intermittently while Sean's working on his sound his end. So listen.
More internet gremlins.
Yeah, we had some internet gremlins last night, and do you know, like anything in life, you know, whatever you face as an entrepreneur and a business owner, we both know this because we're both going through diamond shedding abilities within business and ourselves. You know, last night we was meant to go live, but we struggled with technology. And like anything in business, still can't hear you, Sean. Got no sound at your end. Viewers, can you just let us know if you can hear us, please? Can we just have a sound check? Come on, the listeners, just give us a sound check and let us know if you can hear us. Can you just let us know if you can hear us, please? Sound check. Don't jump on Facebook, Darie, and see if you can hear us. Sound check, please. Can you hear us? Okay, so we're just doing a sound check. We can't hear you at the moment, Sean. Not sure if you can hear us. So you can hear us, but I can't hear you. We're just doing a Facebook check. Just 1 second. So like anything in life, you know, when you face challenges, you have to keep going. You have to keep moving. Marina can hear us. Yes. Can you hear both of us? Okay, Sean, we can't hear you at the moment. We can't hear you. So what I'm going to do, if you jump out, Sean, I'm going to jump you out, log yourself back in. I'll talk to Darie. We'll put you back up. Okay. So listen, guys, you know, just let's get a bit closer, Darie. So we're tight there. So look, you know, we've got Sean back in the broadcast now on the link. We're just pulling him back in. Here we go. Okay, so Sean Mulroney. Sound, Sean?
Hello, can you hear me now?
There we go. Hey, congratulations. Yes, we are back online. Technology gremlins, eat your heart out. So Sean, we cut off at the, it was almost like we was about to climax there. It was a diamond climax, and what we actually said was, You're both loud and clear, but not Sean. I think we've got Sean. Sean, can we hear you?
Yes. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Right. Yeah, we're back in the game. So what we said was, the cliffhanger, and it was a cliffhanger. That was one of those moments where if there was a sign-up option of that, people would have been going, I want to sign up. I want to know the answer.
Yes.
Perhaps next time we might use that as a marketing stuff. But, this is a powerful question. The one reason why you're doing Teams of America, the why you're on this obesity challenge, the one reason you found the strength, the courage, the conviction to do it, which is out of this world, Diamond Courageous. What's that one sentence why you're doing it, Sean?
Well, I have one life, okay? And I'm to be a proper steward of my life. And if I'm to impact and be there for my wife and my kids, then I better make sure I'm properly stewarding my life and making sure that I'm an example to other people. And if I don't get that, and if I can do this, and when I get this weight off, do you realize what kind of testimonial that will be to say, hey, what are you going through? What obstacle are you going through? My why is the fact that it's my body that I'm carrying through. I got one life. You have it for forever. I need to make sure I'm accountable, and I need to make sure I'm a proper steward of it, that I can give back not only to my wife, to my 3 daughters, and then also to the people that I'm working for, so that I can be a good example, so that the fire in my belly can be exactly and productive. Rather than living a short life, I want to live a long life, in my body and my health and my life that was God given to me. I have to be a good steward of it. And if I'm not a good steward of it, then I am not a good example to others and say, okay, here's what I'm doing. But you know what? I've had to lift where I'm standing now through adversity. Adversity either makes you break records or makes you break you. And I'm going through this, the adversity that I'm showing in the stamina that I can't even begin to. I don't get it. I'm a walking anomaly. I'm a walking miracle, because my health overall is incredible, from my blood sugar to my blood pressure. And, doctors have been dismissive to me, and, people, the medical field, trainers, and, the health and fitness industry. But listen to me, this is my body. I'm doing it for myself first, for my family, my wife second, and my 3 daughters, and for everybody else out there, for me, that if he can do it, then I can do it. And my motivator is that I got to make sure that I'm in optimal health, and that I'm a good example for everybody else around me. That's what my strength is, and that my excuses that I've used in all my life, I'm getting past my past because of what I'm going through. Because I've had to find out, it's been not only am I obese physically, but I'm obese up here. And whenever I broke that right there, my mindset, and now my reason and my why is that I got to get my body in optimal health, that what I put into it and what I do, so that my wife, and then I can be there and I can dance with my 3 girls at their wedding, and I can walk them down the aisle, and that they can see that their daddy, that I put them first, because they know that. They exercise with me. We do videos. My daughters get on my shoulders, and I do lunges, and I do body presses with my girls. They love exercising with me. My Madison goes, I'm going to go out in the yard. She's going to be 7 here. She goes, I'm going to go outside and exercise like Dad does. So I don't drink soda. I gave up soda 5 years ago. They don't see that me. Have I drank it? Of course. Have I had treated myself? Yes. But I used to drink it like that. They don't see that. They see me. They go, I want some of Dad's water. I want to eat what Dad's eating. So people are looking. You're
setting the tone and pace for them. So psychologically, which we know as parents, we actually either create and enrich our children's lives, or we can put a negative on them. And sometimes as parents, we always want to try and do the right thing, but sometimes we can get it wrong. By default, that they're seeing you drinking water, eating well, looking after yourself, they're naturally wanting to do what you do, which is fantastic role model stuff, Sean.
Well, Bradley, I want to live 80 or 90 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm good health now, but it's not good on my weight-bearing bones. It's not good on my hips, my knees. My body's not made to carry this weight. And but it's where I'm at. I've had to accept it. And when I accepted it and I validated myself where I was at, that's when true change came.
And whenever I looked at my 3 daughters being born.
How did you validate yourself, Sean? What was the validation process? What was the validation process?
Listen, let me say this psychologically. People wrote me off. People judge you. People judge me. People were, criticized me. People were passive to me. People were dismissive. People treated me. I mean, I was going into a restaurant one time, okay? And I had a guy coming out of the restaurant, a Chili's restaurant. We stopped. I was going to Texas to speak. And I had a guy going in there. Now, listen to me. As I went in there, the guy's coming out. I had my team with me. And he looked at me. He looked me up and down. He was nice. And, let me say this, that, being skinny doesn't equate being healthy. I'll just say that right off the bat. A lot of people have that, because you're skinny, you're 140, 200 pounds, that you're healthy. You got to watch your genes. I know people that are, 160 pounds that have, blood sugar issues, heart issues, and they eat like that out of house and home. And I'm like looking at them, they have a hollow leg, if you will. Well, my thing is that I went into the restaurant. Here's what the guy said. I never met him before. He says, "You're killing yourself." I'm like, what? He looked at me, he goes, "Look at you." He goes, "How could you let yourself get that way?" I'm like, "What? You mean fat?" He said, "Yes." And so watch this. So I'm talking to him. I said, "Sir, a couple of my guys wanted to stick up and just, blast him." I said, No, guys, that's I like people, creating conversation, and even whenever it's uncomfortable, it's, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable sometimes. And things like that sort of was that motivation too. These things that I'm talking about sort of like they gave me drive to say, it started making me, every bit of criticism, there's a strand of truth. And, I take criticism like I take compliments. I want them to roll off my back like water off a duck's back, and criticism's good. I need criticism. We had compliments all the time. Whoa, yeah, look at that. If you didn't have critics, a critic that somebody criticizes us is just telling us that we're doing something right, is what I say. So when he came out, and I'm looking at him, and he's dressing me down and telling me that I'm fat. You must be lazy, man. You eat, and then all of a sudden, now watch this. So now think about this. He's saying this to me, and I'm looking at him. Now, I'm not against anybody that smokes cigarettes or does something. Don't get me wrong. I would not walk up to somebody, "Man, you're killing yourself." I would never do that. Well, as he's telling me this, here's what he does. He takes out a pack of cigarettes, takes out a lighter. He says, "Man, you're killing yourself."
Yeah.
You're killing yourself. Wait a minute. Whoa. I stopped him. I said, "You know what? I didn't come up to you and tell you were killing yourself because you're smoking a cigarette." I said, "I don't need a cigarette to survive." And I said, "That's your prerogative, sir." I said, what I do need is that I need food to live. And I did make a lot of bad choices, as you can tell. And right there in his, he's like, "You know what?" He put a cigarette down and sort of put his head down and goes, "You're right." I said, "All I'm asking you to do is don't approach somebody because you've never been in my shoes, sir. And we got a bunch of people that haven't been obese that don't even understand it." And that's what I asked Brandon, my trainer. I asked him this. Here's what the questions I asked him. And I asked every other trainer that has called me out or has talked to me. And I asked Brandon, I said, "Brandon, have you ever worked with somebody 500 or 600 pounds? You know what he said to me? No. I said, "Have you ever been overweight yourself?" He said, "No." So what happens is that the health and fitness industry, they've never worked with somebody my size. So why is a third of America's population morbidly obese whenever we can't even do something, and that the health and fitness industry isn't going to us because there's no money in us, because they're taught that only 15% of my community is going to do anything about their weight. So the other 85% are just throwaways, and then bye-bye, we don't want to work with you. And you know what? I've asked every trainer if they've ever worked with a 500 or 600 pound that I've come in contact with. You know, many have told me that they have? Zero.
Totally.
So what is that telling you? So I am breaking the stigma, killing the assumption, and creating awareness that there's other obese people that do want to work, that do have my mindset. Because you know what I wish every person knew about obesity is that we're not all lazy. We don't all stink. We're not all slobs. We don't overeat. We don't eat 10,000 to 15,000 calories a day. I never have. I've eaten bad choices, fried foods. Don't get me wrong. I didn't get here by breathing air and drinking water. But what I'm trying to do is kill the assumption and create awareness and let everybody else know out there that, you know what, obese people are people too, and we're human beings. And what I have done is I put a face to obesity, and I have humanized it for people. And there's trainers that are world-class trainers that are wanting to come down to St. Louis and want me to school them because they said they never thought that there were obese people out there that were like me.
You know, you talk about your inspiration is outrageously great. You know, you talk about people judging people, right? But just so you know, me and Darie are both sitting on little stools rather than our usual big chairs. So I'm just going to ask Darie if his bottom is hurting as much as mine is.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes. So we're sitting on little metal chairs, and my bum on the right is really hurting on my right bum cheek, and I can see Darie like wobbling his bottom a little bit. And I'm sitting here because I've got a slightly offset pelvis, so my right bone and my right bum cheek is proper hurting right now. But we just wanted to share that with you, viewers. I hope that's okay. It's called the diamond bottle feeling. So look, you're feeling it, right? The only way we can get close enough together, you know, we just started out on the Diamond Show. We've got aspirations.
We're
like brothers from another diamond mother here, and you know, we talk about, you know, judging people. So let's just talk about that, you know, just for a little bit, because, you know, judging people, right? We all do it. And Sean, you know, you may or may not know, you know, about 3.5 years ago, I had an amazingly terrible experience, which actually moved me into a position of really great understanding and knowledge and put me back on a journey that actually in 2010, you'll probably know a guy called Dr. John DeMartini, founder of the DeMartini Institute over there in the States. And I had a great pleasure to interview him in London at a gentleman's club. And he said to me in 2010, you know, Bradley, you should reach out and be the speaker that you are. You've got a gift, and I urge you to follow that, be congruent with your values. And kind of for 6 years, I went around a self-development course. And at the time, 3 or 4 years ago, when I was betrayed by this director and something really bad happened to me, betrayed being a really bad lie, I was judged by a lot of people. And I was walking around, and, you know, I know the sort of guy I am. I know I'm a diamond. You know you're a diamond. We know we are in our hearts. But it's the people that actually take the time. And I do this all the time when I'm coaching. I always say, you know, what do you see? What do you see? And most people say, yeah, no, I see 2 fingers. I say, no, what do you see? You know, what do you see? And they say, no, I see 2 fingers. And I say, what do you see now? I say, I see 2 fingers. I say, what do you see now? I say, oh, I see you. So first of all, when we look at what we first see. We look at what we first smell.
Yeah.
We look at what we first touch. We look at what we first hear. Our senses are what gauge us to predetermine what we think something is. I'll give you an example. Now, I'm not a massive fan of them because I'd never tried them before. I didn't know whether I enjoyed them. I always went through my whole life saying to myself, oysters, you know, don't like oysters at all. And, you know, I then had a plate of oysters in a restaurant one night with a glass of white wine with a little bit of chili sauce on these oysters. And you know what? They're amazing. It's a now and again thing, oysters, by the way. You know, when you start out in business, you've got to look after your pennies.
Yeah.
But the oysters, right? So I tried these oysters and I loved them and I enjoyed them. So when I look at an oyster, it looks gooey, slimy, almost like a bubblegum bogey on a sort of bed of you know, a shell.
You're really selling them now.
Yeah.
Haven't tried them.
They're a slightly bubblegum bogey. And actually, the taste is and the quality, but I tried them. What I'm saying is, we look at what we first see.
Yes.
And for you, you're the most amazing man. As soon as I met you, I looked way past what I had first seen. I saw a man with a heart, a diamond heart, a man with passion, ambition, a man that's given to the world. And for me, in the UK, we've got a breakfast cereal here, which is called which is called Ready Bread. And it's like a porridge type of thing. And the adverts in the old days, the kids used to come out of their home, of the house, and if you've had your Ready Bread in the morning, they'd have this orange glow around them. And they'd say, you've got the Ready Bread glow. Well, as a man, for me, I see you. I see that glow around you. But people do judge. They do judge what they first see. Yeah. And, I mean,
people were actually programmed to judge that way.
So this is the thing. Why are we programmed to judge? What do you think?
Maybe it's that sort of that evolutionary thing that we've done to sort of stay alive. You know, you see danger, you learn it's dangerous, so you stay away from it. I think we are sort of hardwired to think that way, and I think the things we're exposed to, media, things like that, they all play on your sort of natural instincts, pre-programming, and they reinforce it. So it's, you're always having to teach yourself to look past what you immediately see, because it's so easy to just, take everything at face value and not look past it, because there's always more. There's, that whole saying that never judge a book by its cover. Well, exactly, never do. Read the book, then make an informed decision. So this happens in all areas of life, and it definitely happens in personal branding. I see people all the time, I meet people all the time that we're helping, and they are, their problem is that people always judge them, and they judge themselves as well, which is a very dangerous thing when you're always like negatively judging yourself. And and it's reinforced that everything is like a cycle, and constantly you're putting yourself down, and other people put you down. So we live in this world where we're all constantly negative and putting each other down and putting ourselves down. And what's the benefit of that? Do any of us grow? Do we move forwards? And Sean, what you're doing is so inspirational, because you are showing, you're showing obese people that it can be done. You're showing teenagers that, they don't have to choose drugs. They don't have to go down a bad path. They don't have to, because that's doing the bad thing is the easy option. Actually, it's easy to be overweight and become overweight. It's easy to, go and get addicted to drugs or hang out with the wrong people, or, that's all of it comes very easy. It's only when you try to do good and the right thing, that's the challenge. And waking up every day and taking that challenge on, you're going to make the world a better place. And the people you touch, they're going to go out and make the world a better place. It's infectious, So it's amazing what you're doing. It really is.
You know what? It's as Darie said, and my brother, that was absolutely diamond, spot on. Do you know, as Darie was saying,
I'm giving you high five too, Darie. Hey, I'm giving you high five.
High five. Yeah, beautiful. It's spot on, and if we can get more people in life, in business, in everything we're doing, it starts with us as individuals. And if we can look past what we see, have a little bit of patience,
what we see in ourselves, so important.
It's true, isn't it?
Look in that mirror and see beyond what you look like and beyond your worries. Look and see your potential, your hidden diamond.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Darie, I'm going to ask Darie to share a little bit quickly now, Sean. I want to talk a little bit about. Excuse me, I'm going to clear my throat a little bit about Radio Works. And what's happening with Radio Works. So I want to get a bit of an understanding about the background of Radio Works. And of course, we are doing an interview with Marina Nani, the founder and co-founder, Darie, together. And of course, we should have spoken a lot about it last night, but we're going to ask Darie from his point of view what's happening with Marina. Marina is kind of front of house. She's very engaging. She's the most amazing lady. But I'm going to pass to Darie to explain, just a little bit about Radio Works now and what's happened there, because this live show, the Diamond Show, I'm just one of 10 hosts, not 12 at the moment, from the clues, they're just 10. So I don't want to give too much away about from the clue and 10, 12, 10, 12, 12, 10 numbers to get confused at all. Yeah. Now, you won't know about this, Sean, but there's a 12, there's a 10, the 10 currently could be 12, 12, from 12 from the clues. So don't give too much away on that. But I really don't want to make it too clear that 10, 12 could become 12, there's 2, where's the 2, who's the 2, I don't know. Do you know? No, we don't know. But the 12 is coming. But Radio Works, let me pass across to my dear brother. We had some dinner together tonight. I'm going to pass across to Darie for him to talk about Radio Works World and what's happening.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Diamond Lab.
Well, Radio Works World, as you know, many of our viewers know, and I'm sure you're joining us on this platform for the very first time. World is about empowering heart-centered entrepreneurs, and what I mean by that is people who want to make a good difference in the world, and a lot of entrepreneurs do. Now, a lot of them fail, and the reason they fail is because they don't have the support network in place, or they think they do, but actually what they're sort of running up against is sort of this,
The challenges.
Yeah, the challenges.
The diamond challenges.
The diamond challenges, because this, the self-development and personal branding industry, there's a lot of pitfalls, you know, there's a lot of wrong turns that you can take. There's a lot of wrong people as well, unfortunately. So the whole point of Radio Works World is to provide a platform where heart-centered entrepreneurs can really be themselves, and they can get the support and the structure they need to go out, and their message they can be spread, and they can grow from that. And actually they can then become coaches in their own right, and they can help another set of people. So it grows exponentially, and we've had an amazing year so far. We've had over a dozen events. We've had 3 red carpet awards. We hosted the Authors Awards back in December at the BAFTAs, which was an amazing venue. Sean, the BAFTAs is where British film industry has its yearly awards. It's a very sought after place, and we were so lucky, and just it was an amazing night. And from that, we've now grown into Make the News, which is another platform for people that are just starting up in personal branding, or just starting up in their business, on stage to speak to a crowd, and for them to, you know, get that experience and get their message out there, because we publish everything. We'll make sure that people get the attention they need. Looking forward to the next sort of 3 to 6 months, we have a lot of amazing developments. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I don't want to give the game plan away just yet. But there's, you know, keep an eye out on what we're going to do. We're really we're going to change the personal development game in the UK and in the world, actually. So, you know, we hope you all be joining us for that, and just, you know, stay locked on, because you're going to like what you see.
And indeed, fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So, hey, Sean, brother. So, just to that was fantastic, and just to share that, I mean, when I first met Darie and Marina, it was the Authors Awards in 28th and 29th, was it? 28th and 29th of March, or the 29th and 30th? Anyway, 29th,
yes.
Yeah.
I remember 29th of May, yeah.
So 2 days. I think everything's been quite a blur since then. And for my own personal journey, you know, as you know, I had Chapman.com, and I was building that. I started to write my book. So this section, this is for people that's budding authors, aspiring authors, you know, that wants to get involved in writing their own book, and this could be quite fantastic. Just going to take a sip of coffee here, Sean. I think Darie might as well, even though it's cold. I just wondered if we could get another couple of coffees. I don't know if the kitchen chefs are working, but so I went to the event, and it was an amazing time. And I didn't look past what I first saw at the start. And essentially, Marion Bevington just blown us a kiss back. And thanks, Marion, love you too. Stardust. So yeah, I went to the awards, and you know, at the end of March, I was writing my book. The title was different, and I was invited by another gentleman to come. I spent 2 days with these people. The first day I thought, what is this? I was completely uncertain to what it was, and within an hour of sitting down, I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a diamond mine to me. I mean, to Marina, it's stardust. Marina Nani, when she talks about this stardust spreading this greatness, and she's this most amazing.
She is
like this most amazing.
Ability to see things you don't see.
Intuition.
Yeah, things that you probably are years away from seeing in yourself. She sits there for 20 minutes, and she's like, "This is who you are."
It's like, you know, you're in the dark room with no lights on, and you're going around the walls. The best way I can describe You're going around the walls to find the light switch, but you spend a year looking for the light switch.
Yeah, and then it's right here.
She comes in,
it's right here.
She goes, there's a light switch. And you say, how did you find that? She said, I knew where it was all the time. So essentially, then what you do is you go along to this event. I mean, it's networking, it's a broadcasting platform, publishing platform, coaching platform, live Facebook broadcasting platform. So I went along, and my book, which was called Get Up, Stand Up, Do It, and BradleyChapman.com, and Yes You Can, Inspire to Achieve, which is my other business. It was all sort of, it wasn't aligned. I spent 30 minutes or so talking to Marina. Within 10 minutes, the new book title had been established. She guided me with the chapters of the book and what they should, what the title should be. And the next minute after I spent 30 minutes with her, guess how long it took me to write my book, start to finish? 5 days.
Wow.
So 5 days, right? So after she spent this time with me, went online with me, it was like somebody had got hold of me. It's Darie's mum, right? Mothers and sons, and mummy got hold of me, and she did something to me, and all of a sudden it's like opening up the floodgates, and I sat at because I already had the story inside my head, but I kept thinking, which is what authors do. They overthink so many times about what they're going to write, how they're going to write, how's it going to come across. Marina, and you've seen this like 2,000 times.
Many times. It's an experience every time when people, it's like they stand up and like they're a completely different person. They're walking different. It's like they're like just amazed themselves. They're not sure what's just happened. So it's worth being there just to see that bit at the end. Yeah,
it's a miracle. It's most fantastic. So when you speak to Marina, it's my pleasure to introduce you to her. Sean, you can have a chat with this lady. She's amazing. And, she'll talk to you about your book in the UK and explore some opportunities, so please do. So please do explore that. And, all I would say to you is this: there's very few people that I meet in my life that I will 100% give myself to. And the reason for that is me personally, as an individual, I've strived for success and enjoyed different businesses and different people, cultures, my whole life. And there's been so much bitterness that's come in, the betrayal, the ups, all the stuff that we face on our journey, which is your growth stuff, that I give myself fully to very, very few people. Marina and Darie are one of the very, very, actually, I've given myself to humbly and grateful from a mutually beneficial situation, opportunity where people can grow and flourish together. So it's been quite an amazing journey. And just 2.5 months, new website was created.
So much has happened.
April, May, June, and July. So the book was broadcast on July the 14th. The website was up sort of 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. The launch night was the 4th of July, American Day of Independence. So within a very short period of time, it just goes to prove that it doesn't matter where you are in your life and your business. If you have the right place to go to say, I like what you do, how can you help me? And it's almost like, we were talking about this earlier, isn't it? It's like walking into a supermarket, Sean, where you want every single item that's on the shelf. Not only do you want every item on the shelf, you can use it, coaching, broadcasting, personal branding, development, books, publishing, and loads of other bits and pieces which have not been announced yet. We're waiting to find that out. But it's like a one-stop shop of amazing transformation in a person and a brand. And we're going to be bringing you alive next week now, alive on personal brand, which is going to be absolutely awesome. So, people, we do look past what we first see, and we have to look beyond. We have to find the love.
Always look beyond. Yeah.
Now, back to you, Sean. I want to talk a little bit about. Our children of the future. Our kids are our future. I've got a little program I do called Kids Business Startup under Yes You Can, Inspire to Achieve. Darie and Marina recently have done a lot of work with children on Children's Day. A massive night on Children's Day, didn't you? Yeah. They're also been able to sponsor a lady called and help support a lady called Sabrina Ben Salmi, who's going around the world in 80 days.
She's also amazing, and she does a lot. I mean, Sean was talking about this earlier. She helps families sort of entrepreneurship businesses and sort of look at their kids and what their kids want to do in a very educational and positive way. Get the kids to think about their future and what they want to do. So we were helping get that message out because we like you, we are our future. So the event we had on I was sitting there and I was listening to these little kids, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they were talking about the business they started and all this, and I was
that was a little one, the little one who's absolutely adorable. What's his name? The little red one?
5.
Sean, look on the video. Yeah. This little 5-year-old boy, and Sabrina's got 5 children, and all of her children are
all of them,
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The little one is just, he's so edible. He's the most beautiful boy. All the children are beautiful. Trey, Sean, and all the kids are beautiful. And all of the kids have got books. All of them have got businesses from 5 to 17. Yeah. The 17-year-old, what's happening with the 17-year-old?
She's currently in she's on a very special sort of mentoring program, and I'm trying to think of the name right now.
Marina, Marina, ping us the name, please, on the screen of the mentoring program that Lash is involved with. Just let us know.
Actually, yeah. And yeah, she's at the moment in Bali. She won this.
It was a scholarship, wasn't it?
Scholarship. It's a scholarship, and she's won it out of maybe thousands of applicants from around the world, and they just loved her so much that she's over there right now getting trained up by some really world-class mentors. So we're
she's been chosen out a lot of people. She's managed to. So the lady's name is Lachey Ben Salmi.
Yeah.
And she can be found on Facebook with FB, so FB/Lachey LASHI. In fact, I'm going to share the link because she's actually still looking for sponsorship and support and anything that we can do to help Lachey. I'm going to share the link on the screen just now. Bear with me, Sean. I'm just going to share the link. And this
the Regan Hill Tree. Oh, it's coming to me.
The Regan Hill Tree. We'll find the link now. But it's absolutely amazing what's happening for this young lady. I'm looking at the screen at the moment while we're broadcasting. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out exactly I'm going to find out the details. Sabrina might actually be online. Sabrina, if you are, please ping us details up on the screen so we can have some information from Lachey. And while we're live, perhaps we can share that and try and help more children. Fundraiser by Lachey. So she's got a GoFundMe page. Share with me, Sean. She's got a GoFundMe page, and that she's looking for some sponsorship to help her.
International.
So the Regan Hillier International launches
Young Influencers Scholarship.
Young Influencers Scholarship. Yeah. So that's absolutely outstanding. We'll wait for some information to come across. But children of today, children of today, Sean, it's amazing what you're doing to your kids. So let's jump back to Teens of America just for a little bit. And I want you to talk to us again because there's some other people that may have joined us now. Talk to us again about how people can get involved with Teens of America, and how serious are you about Teens of the UK? Yeah. And what do you think is the next step in this amazing journey with Teens of America? I mean, as you know, I interviewed Jesse K and your good friend Dave Embody from Canada. Dave from Canada and Jess New York. I think he's in Jersey, isn't he? New Jersey. Jesse K interviewed Gary Vaynerchuk the other day, live watching this young guy, Jesse K, sitting in his boxer shorts at his table the day before in the live, thumbs up to Jesse. And then he gets online and he gets the audacity to ask and the courage and the strength and the ability to interview live. This is a 16-year-old kid interviewing Gary Vaynerchuk live on TV. Absolutely outrageous. So what do you feel about the kid, Sean, and how's it going to change with Teens of America?
Well, the whole global impact, that's my dream, ultimately. I started it, thinking Teens of America, but now, like I seen it come up on a screen, Teens of Great Britain. Well, man, if America's Got Talent, you know, can go, or America's, you know, Great Britain, you know, Great Britain's Got Talent. So why can't we be teens of Great Britain? Why can't we be teens of, you know, Canada? Why can't we be teens of so-and-so? And I think that if we do that, we will really start the tide. You know, if they go to our website, you know, if somebody wants to get involved and bring us to their country, we want to be able to have an expansion of, you know, our radio show, giving teens a voice. And I believe the only way that we're going to give teenagers a chance is give them a voice and validate them. So if we give them a voice of where they're at and let them and hear them, you know, a lot of times we say little kids are to be seen, not heard. Well, not at Teens of America, not at Teens of the World. These kids have a voice, and we need to give them a voice, and we need to lift them up and give them a platform so the ones that are making positive choices can hear other teenagers making positive choices, and then that will change and tail, because teenagers listen to teenagers. If you get teenagers motivated, it's going to motivate other teenagers, and it's going to cause a chain reaction. And if a kid stands up for a bully or stands up against a bully, whatever the case may be, I don't want to just help the bullied. I want to help the bullies. You know, we always think about the bully, but what about the bullies? You know, what's happening in their home life? What are they going through? You know, let's make a change. And if we get, it's going to start. You know, that who's going to change the school? It's not going to be the adults that's going to change the structure of our schools. It's not going to be the superintendent or the principal, the parents even. It's going to be the teens that are going to take a stand. And that's what the acronym I came up with is STAND, solution, students turning against negative decisions, STAND. And to stand up, step in, and speak out. That's what we need to give them. So if enough of teenagers are doing that in the right way, you can take it to a whole other level and give them that platform and that voice, and make sure that they get validated and say, man, my story, you know, listen, on my show, I've had teenagers come up to me in assembly and say, I was going to take my life. They've had suicide notes. And they came up and said, you know, because of what you said, I'm not going to take my life. And then you know what they did? Because they shared their voice, other kids came forward. And we changed the whole structure of schools. I can't countless. That's what we're doing with the radio show. The more we get out Teens of America Radio Network and sharing these kids that said, hey, you know, I was bullied. I was being beaten. I was being this, but you know what? I stood up to it. Somebody else stood up for me. And then you know what it did? It changed the whole other things. And how about this? I've had teenagers on there that what my main thing is, why don't you make your bully your friend? Yeah. I've had teenagers that we've helped and say, hey, why don't you make your bully your friend? And you know how many teenagers I can count? I can't even count them, of how many kids have made their bullies their friends because they didn't understand it, because they were doing this because of somebody else. And that's what we're going to do, is that where the power is at in the world, and I firmly believe it, is in our youth. Yeah. And until we give our youth a stage, we're never going to get anywhere.
You know, it's true, because bullies actually are the weakest species. They bully because there's something inside their childhood that makes them manifest their bullying. And actually, the person who's been bullied, for them to stand up, and we've experienced this as well, where the kids have stand up and spoke about this, and with Sabrina Ben Salmi and her family, and her book that's coming out called Around the World in 80 Days, and the 5 children, which have equally had challenges, as I have, as Darie has, as we all have in life. They're standing up, and the daughter actually, you know, Lachey, is beautifully made by her mummy, and her mummy made by her nanny. Her nanny's listening, who's Mary Paul. Mary Paul, how you doing? How you doing, my little diamond? Mary Paul's beautiful, and Sabrina's beautiful. The children are beautiful, and I think we've got a nan, a mum, and 5 children potentially listening. It's an awesome opportunity to talk about bullying, to talk about problems, and to talk about the challenges with kids. It's an awesome subject, Sean, and it is the stronger individual that's got the strength. So when you're saying, you know, make your bully your friend, you know, this is absolutely
it's real strength,
isn't it? You know, I mean, we've just shared online as well, Sean, you know, Lachey's GoFundMe page. So, you know, she's got a fundraiser on YouTube where she speaks and delivers. And I had the privilege to hear it live at Radio Works